Hey, how are you all? This isn't your time to create time to exist. I will also give each and every one of you this night of your time synchronicity. Now, may I also take this opportunity to applaud you on the creation of the acceleration of your fourth density awareness, the recognition of the blending, the co-forming, the co-creation of the idea of the physical experiencing of the continuing state of ecstasy that your world can become. For each and every one of you that has allowed yourself to create the idea with any other being, and even within yourselves, of the idea of your blending of your own levels of consciousness, will, as an individual, make a difference in the entire consciousness of your civilization. Do you follow me? Yes. No. You have, for several thousand of your years, given yourselves many symbols, many situations, many forms of experience and expression and relationship by which you could experience yourselves separated from the idea of your own creatorhood. And in this way, allow yourself to recognize that none of these events needs to be expunged from you. They have all served you. Each and every one of these situations have gotten you where you are today. And in this sense, you know that it is all part of the understanding of your willingness to explore every single corner of creation that you can explore, because you want the totality of the understanding of all that is within you, so that you will know that when you make the shift within yourself to fourth density, to more awareness of more of yourself, you will then experience an unparalleled feeling of expression and activity upon your planet that will allow you to know in no uncertain terms that you have ended the cycle of separation and begun the cycle of integration, and that you can have upon your planet what you have for so long embodied in your mythologies, embodied in your music, embodied in your poetry. The idea of living your dreams, truly and literally living your dream reality upon your planet. For you have now, each and every one of you, and collectively begun to understand that the idea of your imagination is real as what you have long considered to be physical reality, and that what you consider to be physical reality is nothing but the product of your imagination, but simply the one you have agreed to share, have agreed to call the only real reality for the purposes you are serving of yourself, to experience the limitation and separation of yourself from your own godhood. Now, you have reached the ending of the cycle of needing to experience the separation in that way, and you can give yourselves the opportunity for the blending and the allowance of your own ecstasy and ease of creation. You exist. You always have. You always will. You do not have to do anything to continue to exist. You do not have to do anything to deserve to exist. For exist you do. And that is all there is to it. Understand in this way, therefore, you can begin to grant yourself the same feeling of birth, of self-awareness, of unconditional love that gave rise to the idea of the creation. You are all, each and every one of you, beginning to realize that you are the creator of your universe, that in fact each and every one of you is your own universe, and that what you experience within the universe of yourself is completely and totally a product of what you choose to experience for your own sense of growth, your own sense of awareness of the all that is that you are individually and collectively. Now, in this creation of limitation for several thousands of your years, once again, allow me to applaud you on the creativity with which you have manifested the scenario. All of the reflections you have given yourself to always remind yourself in uncounted ways the God that you are. In this way, recognize you have chosen the design of your solar system to reflect the ideas and identities you would be working out in the injection of your soul into material reality. And in this way, allow me to say, you have performed brilliantly. For you will recognize that all of the symbols of the way your system is laid out, and particularly the relationship you have created with what you call your moon, allows you to always recognize that there is something deeper within you. Now you have ascribed it and assigned it in your separation in the various levels of your consciousness to what you call your or subconsciousness, but it is a part of your overall consciousness nonetheless, and it has always been there for you, so that you could see reflected in that face your own God, Goddess, all that is energy. And so you would reach out beyond the idea of your limitations. Reach out and hold, contain, nurture the idea of a relationship to the stars, not only from where you came, but that you yourselves actually created. Understand? All that is, in your vernacular, did not create the universe. All that is the universe. All that is created you and us and all consciousness within the universe. But in this way, recognize that you and all consciousness that was created by all that is, that consciousness has created the universe. For the universe is but an expression of all that is reflecting upon itself, which is what you and we and all civilizations and densities of consciousness and parallel and alternate realities represent. The reflection of all that is to itself, all the different ways that all that is has of looking at itself. Allow yourself to feel the expressiveness that you are of creation. For you are, like unto all that is, unlimited beings. And the reality you experience is only a reflection of what you believe it can be. You are now moving out of the idea of the limitation you have imposed upon yourself and creating new beliefs, new ways of perspective, new points of view. Recognize that everything you are seeing change in your world at this time is a reflection of a change within you. For you cannot perceive what you do not contain. Do you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Sharing.
Sure.
Yes.
You mentioned in January the April event, there would be something said in February as the second, the elements for the second factor were coming into play. And there was something that was mentioned last week to Maureen regarding the event, and I'm wondering if that is all that can be said in it for now, or is there anything else you can tell us before the end of the month?
In this way, for the most part, recognize that there have been some changes. Recognize this. In this case, as in many cases at this time, there are probabilities up to the point of when the choice is made. And so in that sense, it is unknown what the final choice will be. The probabilities that are fluctuating, that still exist in this way, are, although this one has altered to some extent, relationships of the idea of allowing your entire civilization to make choices based upon interactions with other, what you call governments upon your planet. Now, I have said in this way that what you have been calling the Libyan government will continue to add some momentum to the idea of what you will be experiencing, but in this way it has diminished somewhat. There will still be, and to some degree it has already begun, the idea of some new interaction between what you call your own country and that you call Soviet Union in the March time of your year. In this way, all these things will come together, all the probabilities will reinforce each other, so that with the idea of the sociological understanding you will create for yourselves, the reflections and the symbols you will create for yourselves in your April month, There can be a recognition and realization that each and every one of you have a choice and can begin to exercise that choice as to what type of reality you truly do wish to experience upon your planet. Not that you have to force your choices upon anyone, but simply that you can begin living the life you choose to live regardless of what anyone else judges you should or should not do. And that this change within yourselves will allow you to experience the fourth density reality that you have begun to experience upon your planet physiologically, with the increase in what you call coincidence, synchronicity, and the experiences of the simultaneous nature of all that is. Now, in this way, what you call the April event will, in one way, shape, or form, involve the idea of what you call extraterrestrial energy. In this way, it may or may not be as obvious as you think it might be, but it will be there. And in this way, it is only because it is a co-agreement with your consciousness to create that reality according to your own timing of when you think you are ready. And so we await. And so we assist. And so, when you choose to act, so will we. You follow me?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Shooting! Yes.
I have a sense that part of the event that's going to occur in March will be a reaction the Soviet Union has to the fallout from the spacecraft, the space shuttle.
All right. Understand they are in that way matching you, and you have perceived in that sense somewhat the idea of polarity. For one of their own spacecraft is now tumbling and will enter the atmosphere in your March month, and it also contains nuclear. You follow me?
I'd like to talk about the idea of separation with you. Before you mentioned that the reason that Daryl is all of the lifetimes he served out on the planet Earth is because of one lifetime he had 175,000 years ago. And it seems from information that I've understood from you speaking about that souls come here to experience the idea of separation. Is that a major reason, or is that just one of many?
It is an overall understanding, but it is also one of many in that sense that the way in which you choose to experience the idea of separation will go according to the purpose that you have chosen to experience it for. You follow me? In this sense, with regard to the physiological channel, it was the need to experience your methodologies of separation that would enable there to be the offering of the service in this way with us to all of the beings in that civilization, your civilization, this time of your time, so as to offer a choice between the idea of positive or negative reality. You follow me?
Yes. What I'm wondering is how this idea interrelates with the transformational age, because it seems like there's some kind of direct connection with it. And I was wondering, everyone is going to be able to have the choice of choosing unity or diversity in the transformational age. Is that?
There will be diversity and unity in fourth density. Diversity, as we have said, is not a negative phenomenon. You follow me? Mm-hmm. You will have unity and diversity. You will have unity because you will grant equality to diversity. You follow me? Mm-hmm. You will have positive manifestation of unity and diversity.
Well, is the transformational age going to align the planet or the balance of it in more of a different polarity?
In a sense, you will understand that the agreement to experience fourth density reality will simply allow you to begin to see the illusions you have created and reabsorb what has been experienced for so long as dichotomy into a type of polarity that can be contained in the center of your being at the same time. Not this or that, but this and that. You follow me?
Well, this is the idea of Christ.
It is one way to express it, yes.
My understanding of that is that people, I think, took the analogy literally of Christ coming back in this age and rising from the dead. But
in that time frame of your civilization, that was the only way they could understand it.
But it's actually the international arising of consciousness and integration of self of all the
It is the recognition of what you call the Christ consciousness within each and every one of you. That is your second coming.
Okay, and so that is, in one sense, the dissipation or elimination of the idea of separation in this, is that right?
It is the integration, not elimination. You will, in your turns, so to speak, eliminate the effect of separation. But that effect will be not felt because you will be integrated within the totality of your being. You follow me?
Yes.
Because you will not be focusing so strongly on only one aspect. That is what causes the experience of limitation. But limitation, the idea of limitation in and of itself, will never vanish from the universe. You will simply integrate it within you, equal to all other ideas that you can be, and because you allow every idea, including limitation, to be equal, because it has served you, then once all ideas in your reality are equal, you will be able to choose from among them which you prefer, without judging the ones you do not prefer. You follow me?
Yes, I do. That's good.
Thank you! Charlie!
Guys, would you care to comment on the craft over West Los Angeles last night? Was there any special news on good?
Allow me simply to say that it was one of the manifestations of the acceleration we have been speaking of in this way that will go towards the idea of your You follow me?
Yeah.
Simply recognize, let us say, the idea is that there is almost, now, too much recognition, too much information to be controlled. You follow me?
Yes.
Surely.
Was it your civilization participating in that?
Very briefly, yes. A majority of the civilizations were, very briefly.
Was that the same group that was in Tucson a few months ago?
Oh, yes.
Are they doing a little global
And
tour?
a few weeks ago as well.
In Tucson as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you say the next city that they may...
Set up then?
Don't hold your breath.
It will increase, and there will begin to be simultaneous occurrence in many of your cities.
And when will the media finally accept and
That is up to
allow
you.
that? That's up to us.
Of course, you are your governments, you are your media. Talk openly. Share of yourself, share of your heart, share of your intention. Do not attack, do not accuse. Share. And then, once you open the lines of communication within yourselves, your symbolic lines of communication upon your planet will open to reflect that idea. Do you follow me? Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's funny that you opened with the synchronicity.
Funny. All
Funny.
right.
And then also talking about the separation, because today more than I felt in a long time, it's been like a frustration. Like in my heart, I feel I want to do something pretty, strongly, but then
right.
everything on the outside is like being hurdles or challenges or whatever.
Outside
So
where?
I'm going two different directions, and I don't know.
You are going in one direction. One direction.
It seems like I'm working against myself, and
All
like
right.
I want to do one thing, but everything else piles up. So it.
What is it you want to do?
Well, for instance, tonight I wanted to come here to get to speak. My heart won. My car broke down, and I was having trouble getting a ride. It's like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? So I just I could have got my car fixed tonight, but I said, the heck with it. Last time he said don't should something, so I said I want to come here. So
All
I'll come,
right.
whether
Very
I should
good.
fix my car or not.
Then understand you have given yourself, not because you came here, but simply because you allowed yourself to act without making it necessary that other incidents, in a sense, all perform the way you expect they should before being willing to act. Because you have allowed yourself to do that, you are beginning to change your own habits. And you can continue to do so.
I was thinking it would be good if maybe, is there any way I could give it a shot in the arm when I decide which way I should go? Like, I don't know, just
Understand. There is no which way you should go. Any way you go is your right direction, because you are going there. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
You are not on a path. You are a path. You cannot be off yourself. So wherever you are on your path. As soon as you choose to stop judging all the different ways you can be a path, you will not need to create the need to make a decision. You follow me? You are creating need to make decisions instead of allowing yourself to be where you are. And trust that where you are reflects where you want to be. That you have already made the decision to be there, or there is no way in the universe you would be there. You cannot be somewhere you have not chosen to be. It is not possible. Do you follow me?
Well, I find myself in situations that I really don't think I chose to be in.
That is not possible. You may not like it there, but you chose to be there because of the way you choose to think of yourself. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
If you are choosing to think of yourself as someone who can be battered back and forth by the tides of whim in the universe, then that belief about yourself will throw you into the tide pools, and you will swirl around wondering what you are doing there, not thinking you would ever possibly choose this. I could never have made this choice. It has nothing to do with what I think my life should be about. You are judging, and judging at every step, every corner, and those are the dead ends you are finding. You are running into your own judgment. If you would release the idea of judging yourself wherever and wherever you find yourself to be, then you will find that those paths that you become are not, in and of themselves, dead ends. You will walk through the illusion of the wall, and on the other side you will find that you are right back where you started. Do you follow me?
Yeah. Thank you.
One moment. Simply. Lighten up on yourself. Do not take yourself so seriously. Well, you can if you wish.
You told me to trust, and I thought it was another one of those trust things, but it feels like I was fighting myself.
All right. But you can also trust that you know what you are doing, even when you are fighting
Yeah, I
yourself.
won.
You always win. Understand that. All right? You always win. And, in a sense, more than that, you simply always are. You don't have to make it a win. When you make things a win, you are assuming you can lose. And it is the fear that if you do not win, that there is an alternative that creates it for you. Because your fear is stronger, is the strongest overriding belief, more than the idea of simply just being. You follow me?
Why is that?
You tell me.
Oh, okay.
Why? Why should you choose that idea? Why should you choose to believe you have to win, thereby creating the idea that you might lose? Well?
Hard to say.
No, it is not. How has it served you?
I guess I must have been training myself with that or something.
All right. How has it served you to do that? How has it served you to feel like you can lose?
I get to the point where I don't have to win or lose.
Very good. Thank you. Then allow it to have served you, and you will be done with it.
Sounds good.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. I had a real interesting conversation with some friends of mine on this very subject, and
Right.
I was sharing my idea of
Well, may I interrupt you for one moment?
Sure.
Thank you. Now, this will be a very good synchronous example of simultaneous experience and expression of and within the different beings in your civilization, many of which are very close around you, that you, if you are willing to share as you have done, can allow others to share, and you can see the overall pattern Only because your lines of communication are limited by your judgment have you not allowed yourself to recognize that if you simply share who you are, if there is anything that you do in fact need, it will automatically be provided by someone else who is also willing to share. Please continue.
Sorry. I don't know if this is going to fulfill what you just said, but...
Oh, judgment.
So this person we got into the idea of the best choice,
Yes.
being the best, and I was presenting the idea that there is no best, that you're always choosing the right path and you can't pick a wrong path.
Right.
And this guy said, well, let me give you an example. Me and my wife were driving along and she said, well, and we wanted to go home. And she said,
Right.
well, let's take this way home. And so he said, okay. And they wound up on the top of a mountain.
Nice.
And he said, now you tell me, that was not the best, our goal was to go home,
Nice.
and that was not the best way to go home because it didn't get us home.
All
And
right.
so I presented the idea that, well, you got something out of that interaction, whatever it was, and he said, well, then what you're saying is you can gain things from it, but you can't prove to me that that was the best, that it had validity in terms of learning something about your life on an overall view, but it did not get you home.
So
I had no...
But understand in this way that simply what is being done is what you call in your civilizations mixing apples and oranges.
So that's what he was accusing me of.
No, other way around. Recognize this. In your terminology, allow me to use your terminology for a moment. All right, I will use the term best for now. That path may not have been the best way to achieve what he had in mind, but that is not the point. Simply what is being done by that individual is a judgment and a comparison that path should have been connected to his goal. The simple living in the moment recognition would have been, this path is what this path is. It may not have anything to do with getting home, but that is why it is not connected to that idea. It is its own idea. Being on that path is simply being on that path. The idea of making a connection that this path is not the best path to get home really has nothing to do and is beside the point. The idea is that for them, there are many paths, so to speak, to have gotten home. That simply was not one of them, and because it is not one of them, it has no business being compared to one of them, for it is its own path. And if that individual was willing to live in the moment instead of in the future, wanting to get home and only seeing validity if the path achieved that for him, if he would have preferred to live in the moment, then the path for what it was could have served him. But it was not allowed to serve for what it was, but only was compared for what it was not. You follow me? That is the idea of living in the moment. Then you will not make a judgment. If you simply find yourself on a path, you will accept the path for what it is, and then you will allow yourself to learn the lesson of that idea. You follow me?
Instead of judging it against what you thought you may or may not have wanted.
Yes. Simply, it is not best or worst. It is simply different. It may not be the path to that individual's house, but so what? That is not the point. Now, the idea is not to insist that it is the path to his house or a bad path to his house. It simply has nothing to do with the concept of a path to his house in the overall direct sense. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Will that have answered your question?
Yeah, I would like very much to remember all this. I will remember all this. Thank
It
you.
simply comes down to being in the moment.
Okay.
I would have asked him what he saw when he got to the top of the mountain.
Oh, that wouldn't have worked.
I mean, maybe, that's what he was confused.
Now, you can understand that a way that path may be connected to the idea he was exploring is to discover that that path is not a way to his home. And therefore he will not take it again. And in that sense, it is still on the path toward his house.
Because he knows that that's not his
Yes. And therefore, in that sense, it is connected to the original idea. Bipolarity. So it is still connected in that way. But aside from that, it is a completely separate idea. And there is no need to judge that it is a worse path than any other. It simply needs to be appreciated for the path that it is. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Good.
I I'm experiencing a time in my life where I feel very open to the future. But for my entire life, I felt an immense tie toward things past. And I don't see them clearly.
All right.
Even in my own lifetime now, I don't understand what the continuity has been.
Thank you. First of all, recognize that only in your present mentality are you creating the concept of continuity. You follow me?
Yeah.
There really is no time in that sense except as you create it to be. You follow me?
Yeah.
You are living experientially in the present. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
That is the only time in which you experience existence. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
You are creating your past and your future from your present, therefore. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
Therefore, simply recognize in that way that if you simply allow yourself to recognize who and what you are in the moment in the present, and do not extend the idea of needing to discover yourself in the future or in the past, then everything you need to know about yourself will be here and now, instead of out there and then. And the fuzziness will dissipate. And the clarity will come in. Now, this is not to say that your creation of the search in the past, the search in the future, is not valid for you and not appropriate for you because, again, it has gotten you where you are, and it has served you, and you have created it, and it is a loving, equal creation to anything else you could do, and is not to be judged in that way. But simply recognize if you have come to the recognition that you are here and now, and would prefer that all understandings of yourself be with you now, then simply allow yourself to realize that your present is not a result of your past, because you are creating your past from the present. You follow me?
Yeah.
Now, how does that feel?
It feels like I'm a lot closer to being certain I understand who I am right now.
All right. Who are you right now? Now, all right. I'll give you a, as you say, break. All right. All right. Now, before you answer, allow me not to tell you, but to remind you of something, all right? Before you answer who you are right now, allow me to remind you that you are not attempting to achieve perfection. You already are perfect as a manifestation of exactly whatever you are. You are a perfect manifestation of whatever manifestation you are. And so every moment of time, you are that perfect representation of that idea in that moment of time. You are perfect now, you always will be. Perfection is not something you will ever reach because that is where you are now. Therefore, do not fear to state what you are now, because what you are now for now is perfect. And in the next moment, it will be different. And in the moment after that, and the moment after that, and the moment after that. It will be different, and always perfect. So take the weight off of having to believe you need to give a answer reflective of some future perfection you think you are not. Rather, simply be the you are perfectly you now. All right? Okay. So who are you?
Well, even before you give me that explanation, something came to my mind. I feel I'm a baby. I mean, it's like everything is very new. Very
good.
Thank you.
Because you are, in a very literal sense, every moment of time that you exist constantly reborn. So you are, in that sense, always new. Yes, very good. Is that not exciting?
It's great.
Oh, thank you.
I'm happy.
Oh, yes. Babies usually. Thank you very much for your sharing. Has this been of service to you?
Yes, very much so.
Then we will extend our appreciation to you for your willingness to be bold about the conviction of the idea that you are. Thank you for your gift. Yes.
A question following up on that. Realizing that you're perfect in the moment.
Yes.
If you want to change something that you are in the moment, is seeing yourself as that and as that is perfect, is that valid?
Everything is valid.
Uh-huh.
Now, simply recognize that the moment you see another idea of yourself, it is another moment, and in that moment you are that new you. Still perfect, but different. You follow me?
Yeah.
Understand that in one moment you did not have the conception. The next moment you were the conception. You follow me?
Yeah.
So in that brief interlude between the moments, you became a new you. The you that is being expressed as this conception. Now there is no need to separate yourself from it and assume that what you are imagining is unreal and that you have to do something to create a process to achieve what you are imagining. The moment you imagine it, you are it. You are that vibration or you would not have the thought. You follow me?
Yeah.
Begin.
Bashar,
Yes.
I'm Hilda. You may remember me. I talked about having an enemy.
Oh, yes.
And you told me only unconditional love will change the situation.
If you are willing to act as unconditional love, yes.
I tried.
Oh. There is a difference between being it and trying to be
I
it.
agree with you.
All right.
But I'm very imperfect.
Oh, no. You are not.
I feel I'm less wonder to feel unconditional love when it's imperfect.
Why?
Because it's the goal.
There is no goal. You are making the path long. You are making the path hard. You are making the path difficult. Because you assume you will reach a goal and that will be it. Learning and expressing yourself as the unconditional love that you always are never ends. In this physical life, in non-physical life, it never ends. You are always becoming yet another facet of the unconditional love of all that is, and expressing yourself in whatever way perfectly that you choose to. Now, it is your choice to use your unconditional loving creative energy to assume that you are not unconditionally loving. Change your idea. The longer you continue to judge yourself, the longer you will be judged by others. For they are only reflections of your own self-judgment. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
How does one do that?
Doing it. Acting like it. Use your imagination. All right. Let's do this. You have an imagination, yes?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let us use your example of the so-called goal for a moment. Just as an example. How would you describe that you would be if you reached that goal and became an unconditionally loving being? How would you act? How would you appear?
I want to answer, I can love a dog and a cat unconditionally. I love all animals.
Yes.
So I know what it feels like to love unconditionally.
Yes.
But men are judged much more harshly, probably like myself.
All right. But that is not what I asked you.
It's true.
In this way, for now, play a game with me.
Right.
Simply use your imagination and imagine what you would be like if you unconditionally loved everything. Now, since you have said that you have an example you can use, simply for a moment, if it makes it easier for you, allow me to remind you we're only playing. If you wish, in the next moment, you can go back to judging. But for now, play along. There's only a game. It will not hurt you to be unconditionally loving for a second or two. It is all right. It won't stick if you don't want it to. You are in control, and nothing will force you to become unconditionally loving of yourself. Therefore, do not worry. We're only playing a game. Therefore, for a moment, allow yourself simply to relax and have fun with the idea of what it would feel like to be unconditionally loving with everything and everyone. All right?
I would touch a human being like I touch a dog and a cat.
No.
Embrace them and cuddle them.
Oh, very good.
And give them what they need.
Then you have your clue.
Yes.
For understand that in the moment you can imagine that, you are it. You are it right now. Right now. Now, you do not have to continue to be it. It is up to you. But you can continue to be it. It is up to you. It is all based upon the degree to which you are willing to prefer that reality over any other. So, allow me simply to say, simply being obvious about it, that if that is not the reality you are experiencing, then, in a sense, let me just say, based upon your point of view, you are simply not, well, tired of the other realities yet.
Slow learner.
That is all right. Does not need to be a judgment. That is your path. That is your way. It is just as valid as any other way. And in this sense, recognize that your soul body, your higher self, values your process, your choice of how you wish to learn, still as just as much of an enriching experience to its whole soul self as any other path you could have chosen as a personality. Your higher self does not judge you for the path you have taken, for it is enriched by anything that you do. For you are the product of unconditional love. You are made of love. Love is what you are made of. Therefore, every act you do is an act of love, and that is how your higher self sees it. Therefore, since we know your higher self is enriched, you as a personality can choose to share the belief that your higher self knows is true. You do not have to continue to judge. It's up to you. If you continue to judge, then do not judge yourself for judging and enjoy your judgment. And that will at least allow you to relax into the unconditionally loving way you have chosen to explore the idea of judgment.
But
Yes.
what does an enemy try to teach you? This man
That
is in
you-
some way my teacher.
Yes,
What
of
does
course.
he want to teach me?
That is the point right there. You have got it all in a
I
nutshell.
want the love.
The idea that enemies are created in your mind. As long as you continue to label that idea, it will function as an enemy. Enemies, like anyone else, are teachers. And if you choose to begin to look at it as a teacher, it can become a friendly teacher as well as an unfriendly one.
Last time he told me to receive her and to put all kinds of things on the table. I did all that. She did come in when I wasn't there. She did not let on that she was there. And now she has gone back to Israel.
All right.
And I have decided to go to Israel for certain reasons.
All right.
And try to hunt her up. And
There is no trying.
I must talk to her.
If you say so.
I must make peace with her.
Make peace with yourself.
But I feel I must find her and also make peace with her.
All right, then trust your feeling. If that is the way you wish to act out making peace with yourself, do it.
Do you feel I am successful in finding her and making peace with her? Would you know this?
There is no way to know. It is your decision. It can go any way. Now, allow me to ask you, do you feel strongly that you are at peace with that idea?
Yes.
Then you will find it. If that is what you need.
I need it very much.
One moment. Understand this, though. And I realize that in your own terminology, you may wish to make it difficult to understand. But understand this is our suggestion to you. Go and seek her out, but there is no need to make it a need to find her. That is when you will find her. That is when you will allow her to find you. Exactly in the moment at which you can both be at peace.
Sessions earlier, we were talking about karma and the idea of experiencing the polarity of something.
Nice.
If you experience a great deal of what you consider to be positive, does that mean you will also experience the negative?
No, not manifestly in your physical reality. You contain, while you are physical, always the positive and negative energy, the probabilities. Mm-hmm. The idea of what you prefer, if you allow everything to be equal, will simply result in positive manifestation. You follow me?
Yes. So you'll experience what you need to experience, but you'll experience it in a positive manner as you perceive it.
Yes!
So there is no... the concept has sort of been banging around somewhat, at least the way I understood it, is if you experience negative, then you'll... sort of like it had to happen. If you
Karma is completely self-imposed.
Right.
Now recognize in this way, as we have said, that the idea of playing karma out from life to life is not always literal. The idea that if you kill someone, you have to be killed. No. You can simply, in this way, let us say, if you feel the need to experience the balance, it can still be in this way positive in another sense. Not negatively played out by having your own life taken, although that has happened for each and every one of you many times. But you can choose in this way, perhaps, to assist and aid the emotionality of someone who knows someone who has been killed in your next life. And that will be your working out of the balance. You follow me?
Yes. I also had another question about your life on Sassani.
Yes.
When your civilization was in third density, did you have a character like we have our Jesus or our Buddha, that type of personality or entity?
There was not that form exactly of symbology. There were more the idea of the archetypal energies, in a sense embodying themselves what we came to recognize eventually as our own subconscious and unconscious projections, the world spirit of our world in that way. The idea, however, in this way was understood when it appeared, and it is what allowed us to begin to integrate ourselves when it occurred. We did not follow, we acted like. You follow me?
Yes, the archetype concept evaded me though.
Simply the idea that you as a world consciousness, because you have created your individual consciousness as to have levels, conscious, subconscious, unconsciousness, you also instill that reality into the overall mass consciousness. There is a mass un- and sub-consciousness. And it is out of those that many of the archetypal mythologies that present themselves upon your world, that cloak themselves in the aspect of your own godhood, to reflect your own godhood to you, use that energy to embody themselves upon your planet with. You follow me?
Yes.
They come out of your subconscious realization and recognition of who and what you are. The creator of all that is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Yes.
Recently, I've been feeling like I've been infused with information, having sometimes a lot of twitching going on in my upper and lower lids, and
All right.
I feel information coming through. And one of the sources seems to be, I'm getting the words Ra, as in the Egyptian sun god.
Yes.
And I don't personally have any conscious knowledge of what that is.
There is a body of material upon your planet already in literature form that you may explore. There are individuals here who can guide you to that material. After allowing yourself to absorb that material, we will speak again so that you can see what portions of that material are reflected within you and how it may delineate the path you have chosen to be. All right?
Ma'am,
Yes.
also in terms of polarity, I'm involved in a relationship that seems to be, when it's on the loving end, it's very, very loving, and when it's on the conflicted end, it's very, very conflicted.
All right.
And I, as a preference, I would much prefer to sit in the middle and sit center and keep finding myself reacting. And I do a lot of visualization and imagining of what it would be like not to react.
All right.
And I'm still, it seems like I keep playing the same pattern over and over and over again.
It is never the same, over and over and over again, because you are never the same you. You simply may be giving yourself an opportunity with each and every new you become to observe similar ideas from different perspectives, different points of view, so that you can round out the totality of yourself. Do you follow me?
Quite.
All right. The idea, simply, is that if you wish to stop reacting, then start acting. Start acting like the being you wish to be. Do not sit and think about it. Be it. Act like it. Respond like it. Talk like it. Think like it. Love like it. Share like it. Be it. Do it. Become it. All right? Follow me.
Yes.
You can recognize that there still may be many things in your habitual patterns that reflect lack of willingness to truly take the step to be the being you wish to be. If you are using your imagination, allow it to show you methodologies, ways to act like that being. All right? Sharing.
I was meditating the other day, and this voice kept repeating in my ear, Bernard Star.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, simply we have told you about the idea of the Barnard system, yes?
Yeah.
Now, in this way, therefore, you can begin to recognize that as you begin to go into fourth density reality, you are going to begin to form the network of connections that you will have with that planet in the same way we have connections with you. So that as the serious civilization goes on to another idea, and we, in a sense, take their place and you take ours, they will take yours. And you will interact with them as we interact with you. You're simply beginning to recognize that these connections are beginning to form, even as your own connections to fourth density are beginning to congeal.
Okay, I was vaguely seeing pictures of it.
What did you see?
There was a star and a planet out there, a couple around there, is there anything on those planets yet?
Oh, yes. The civilization you will be interacting with is loose analogy, approximately in what you call your Renaissance phase of existence. Can you see them?
I didn't at the time.
Well, go ahead.
I see an image of...
What do you see? Relax. Go inward. Use your imagination. Relax. Focus in. Touch them with love. Touch them with compassion, and you will have the pictures that represent the ideas of their civilization. What do you see? Do not think about it. Say what you see.
Yeah, images of, say, the way London and England used to look in the period you just mentioned.
What else? Go through your own archetypes and see theirs. See through the eyes of their subconscious reality. For that is how we approached your civilization.
I don't see anything real clear, just more...
All right, what do you see? All right, describe them in any way that you can.
More like clouds and...
All right.
Some color, some of them have colors in it.
All right.
Nothing real clear though.
What is the feeling?
Soft feeling.
All right, let me make a suggestion. Randomly pick an individual in that civilization right now and focus upon him or her. What do you see?
A man with a beard.
All right. What is he doing?
He's walking down a street.
And?
Like a cobblestone street. Just carrying something under his arm, and there's some people in the street around him.
All right.
Kind of like carriages.
All right.
Kind of like a busy city street.
All right. What does this individual feel like? Touch his mentality. Taste his mind.
It's on his way to do something. It's definitely walking in a direction to meet something.
Seems purposeful, yes?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Now, see the individual in whatever setting, even though the image may pop into another setting, see the individual looking skyward. Do you see this?
Okay.
What setting is this individual in now that they are looking skyward?
So, a hill.
All right, very good.
Trees around it.
All right. Where do you suppose he is looking?
Looking towards, I guess where, whatever constellation we
Yes.
appear to be in.
Yes. Yes. Now, do me a favor. Send love and light, compassion, and creativity to that individual. All right? Now, break the connection. All right? Do you know what you have just done?
The channel.
Yes. Yes. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Now, recognize that in the process of time and timing, that will be another connection that you will eventually explore. All right? Yes. Thank you. You may all take a short break. Okay. Now, the idea of some acceleration of energy will begin to commence this time of your time, and as we spoke to you, what you call last year of your time, about this doorway you are approaching, that you went through before and are going through again. It is representational of a cycle, a pattern of repetition that you create in your mass consciousness to allow yourself to open up to many portions of your subconsciousness, your unconsciousness. Now, whereas in past times you have created this to be a symbol of the idea of things that can come out that are negative in nature and attack you, surprise you from within and destroy you in this way, you now understand that for the past several of your years you have been utilizing this doorway in a positive nature to step through to a new idea of yourself. This time is coming up round and about again as you create time to exist in your orbit around your central star. Allow me in this way to remind you, it is what you call the Ides of March. there will be, on that date you call the 15th of that month, some increase and acceleration in what you call sightings. All right.
Right.
Erika!
Yeah?
Recognize that you and those with you in this way, sharing the idea of your exploration of your own channeling, will conduct one of your sessions on that day, being it that it is what you call your Saturday. In this way, recognize that it will be an open door for the opportunity to recognize that energy will be sent, and you will now begin, starting the first of the month of the same name, March, to feel an acceleration in this way that will lead you to that opening, that doorway, and you will, upon that day, be able, if you wish, in any way that you wish, to express through yourself more solidity of contact. Recognize it is an opening, a time of opening, a doorway into the internal you, a doorway into all levels of your consciousness, a doorway that you can step within and meet yourselves. When you do this, introduce yourselves to the selves that you have suppressed, to the selves that you have feared, to the selves and the portions of yourself that you can now love, and extend an opportunity to share in the blending of the rest of your consciousness, so that there need not be any further in your life the idea of the different levels of your consciousness, that you can function as one homogeneous conscious being in this way, in what you call your day-to-day experiential reality. You can begin then, since you will no longer be creating the division of being awake and being asleep. You can begin to live your dream lives, live your dreams, and you can form disconnections in that sense from what you have long considered to be the continuity of your past. You may find that in the forming of that disconnection, there may be what you call loss of memory. Do not fear. You are simply breaking the continuity of the idea that you can only know what you need to know in the present as a result of what you have done in the past. Now you can begin to realize, as we have said, your present is not a result of the past, and you can simply recognize that even if you do not continue to create the idea of memory, which you are still creating in the present even when you create it, but even if you do not continue to create that idea, you can simply allow yourself to know that you can know whatever you need to know in the present, at any given moment, in any given situation in which you find yourselves, in which you have created for yourselves to experience. You all follow along?
Mm-hmm.
Sharon! Yes?
Last week we spoke about the fourth chakra opening having to do with compassion, and the third chakra with intention and them coming together in the transitional way.
Heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, yes.
To be compassionate action.
Yes.
And I moved, I created a positive manifestation of that blending. And also once before that, and since then, and especially right now, I'm physiologically experiencing tremendous, like fever,
Yes.
burning,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the idea that the organs are actually moving, and a chiropractor said the idea of a diaphragmatic hernia, which is like the third area moving up
Nice.
physically into the fourth.
Yes.
And I'm wondering about the pain associated with it, how I could experience this.
All right. Simply ease off a little bit on yourself in that way. Relax into the idea of your timing. There's simply one final reminder that with compassion, not only outwardly, but for yourself, then those transitions can occur within the ease of creation. No need to punch yourself through the doorway.
I'm not aware of which personality I'm really doing it.
Which personality? The totality of you is doing it. That is the idea.
But when you say lighten up,
In that sense, simply, The idea still, the habit of the comparison between the idea of an old and a new you. Allow the blending to be spontaneous, and in this way also allow it to let you know that even when it is spontaneous, you still have enough time to recognize what is occurring so that you can ease into it. You follow me?
Yeah, could you say something about the nature of the physiological changes? I also have other people in my reality on different levels.
Yes, well, simply in this way. Any idea of fever, friction, or pain is still a little bit of what you call the remnants of the habits of considering there to be a difference between the slower vibration of third density and the higher vibration or faster vibration of fourth. It'll all even itself out. It will all mesh. All the gears will begin to turn at the same rate, as you say. Simply, you are going through this transformation with little bumps and jars in this way, because you are finding that there are little blocks, little habits, and they are being kicked out of the way. This is why we say, ease up. You can move them aside, accept them within you, let them melt. Within the liquidness of your being, become fluid. In your integration, become fluid, so that when you encounter a block, it will be as if a block of ice, and you will be the water, which, through your warmth of compassion, will eventually, while it flows around and engulfs the ice, melt and integrate with it, so it will flow with you as well. Carry that imagery with you. Apply that to yourself, and feel yourself to be the essence of fluid action. Let that fluid wash through your system and ease the pain that you have created in this way. All right.
Are there any specific suggestions for the...
I just gave you one.
I was going to...
Why do you need more? How many do you want? 2,578. You will never get around to using them all anyway. How many do you think you need?
I don't have a number.
Good. Because there is no number that you need. You do not need any. You are your own process. And what I have suggested to you is simply one way in which you can, if you wish, see yourself. If you wish to create any other methodologies, rely on your imagination. That is what its job is. It is tuned to the vibration of your own being, and your imagination will always only create rituals and methodologies and suggestions that are in sync with you. So, use your imagination. If you do not prefer what I have suggested, create your own. For you, it will be right. You follow me?
Yes. Thank you for your sharing.
Thank you for yours. Good.
Will you be willing to reflect on my purpose of creating tools on future habits?
This will be very pragmatic, a question in your terms. How do you, no matter what, in a sense, physically you are doing, how do you see? What is your attitude about yourself in terms of what you do for a living?
Block with, I have a sense of seeing like block pushing against a wall that is giving.
What do you think you will find on the other side of that wall when it gives?
Flow.
Flow. What is flow?
the willingness to allow a problem to seem different.
All right. Can you sum it up in one word?
Allow.
All right. Which means? What is the basis for allowance? In a sense, starts with a T. Ends with a T. Yes. Trust. Now, the idea is simply that you come from a place, and in your terminology, you have made connections to a past life idea, even though that is only still in the present as a connection. The idea of rejecting portions of your own naturalness. Understand in this way that when you go through that wall, much of what is in the flow will be atmosphere that you, in a sense, will find now in your mentality many foreign objects within. The more familiar you allow yourself to become with the ideas that are foreign, the easier you will allow and accept that you can survive in any atmosphere. That you do not have to reject those ideas. That you do not have to create such a rarefied atmosphere for yourself to exist within. Do you follow me so far? Now, you also do not have to push through that wall. I will also not tell you, but suggest this idea for you. Imagine yourself standing in front of the wall. It is solid before you, but you are solid before it. Slowly, gently, allow your face to come closer to the wall. Closer, closer. Allow your face to touch the wall. Allow the sensations to transmit themselves to your skin. Warm, cold, hard, soft, rough, smooth. And then, in your imagination, recognize that you are breathing easily, deeply, and as you continue to breathe easily, deeply, joyfully, expansively, slowly, 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 push your face into and through the material of the wall. Let it sink into the wall. And bit by bit, allow yourself to begin to breathe the wall into you. So that the more you breathe of the wall, the less solid it becomes. Now, do not worry. It will not dissolve all at once. It will not let a flood of what is on the other side engulf you. Take deep breath in and let it out. Do this twice more. Now, at this time, slowly back out of the wall. Back out. All the way out. Now, as you look at the wall, notice the difference in its resonance. Notice it is made of a little bit more immaterial material. It is a little bit less there on your side. Now, with this idea, with this exercise, allow yourself at any time you wish, and augmenting it with whatever comes into your imagination, however you wish, you may, if you choose, utilize this suggestion, go back into the wall and out, in and out, until you are used to breathing the idea of what the wall is made of. Then, when you are ready, allow yourself to poke through and breathe a little bit of what the atmosphere on the other side is. You may step back and go further anytime you wish. And allow yourself to know that with each breath that you take of the substance on the other side of the wall, of the atmosphere, you will incorporate within yourself a willingness and an allowance and a trust that within you is one more recognition of another portion of yourself that is no longer foreign to you. And bit by bit, you can begin to explore the naturalness of every portion of your being, every atmosphere, every idea, every path, every facet, every spore of an idea that you are, that can now grow within you without fear of destroying all other ideas. Be following. Thank you very much.
One more question.
Yes.
Saturday, concentrating on a flight craft. Maybe you can tell me about what civilization they were from?
Our understanding at this time is that the majority of the connection you will be witnessing will be creative. There are other connections specifically because of that area at this time, and for right now, we cannot say. There may be opportunity to explode within some of the other individuals that you are sharing this evening with some of that idea of experiences in that area as well. Feel free, after this discussion, to do so. All right? Sharing. Yes.
You mentioned about the crash in 1947.
Yes.
Can you tell me what civilization they were from and a little more about how many people were in there and how they did the crash?
The idea basically would be beings you would recognize as what you call from reticulum. In this way, there were in that 3 beings. What else do you wish to know?
Well, I think I'd like to write to the government and request more information. I just thought it might be, if they had more recognition, that we were more aware of what that really was, it may help us to share the information they were receiving.
It is not in that way what you call data that will open them up. It will be compassion of the way you feel about the idea. Again, not accusing, but simply the recognition of your willingness to let them know that you know that allowance of that communication to be shared will allow them, along with you, to be equally self-empowered. For now, in that way, until your civilization can allow itself further progress in communication with itself on this matter, details cannot be allowed. You will find that that craft has been moved many times anyway.
But they still have it, they still have it.
Oh yes. And there have been more than one.
Oh, there have been more than one crash?
Yes.
Well, was it a crash because of was it a conscious crash because it was part of an agreement?
In a sense. But in the overall sense in this way, the scenario that was created was an interference of the guidance system of the craft by what you call your radar at the time. In a sense, in your terminology, it was a seeming accident. Some of the ones since then were not.
They were more or less like
unconscious attempts to use the radar to cause the crashes. Now, recognize that since that time, in your terms, precautions have been taken. And your device can no longer affect those craft. But you do have several.
Sure.
Yes!
There was a lot of sightings at that.
Oh, one moment. The idea also that we have already spoken of is that you will find that there, that being your scientist's dissection of the bodies will have revealed few internal organs. You follow me?
Yeah, you said that they dissolved to where they're
Yes.
living on their land.
Yes.
Do they have like a heart? They can have a heart, though, and stuff.
In a sense. Yes.
That period of the late 40s and the early 50s, there was a lot of sightings
Yes.
around the world at that particular time. And then there seemed to be about a 10 or 15 year period where there wasn't a lot. Can you tell me why that was so? Was there some...
More simply the idea at first of your creation of the idea you call atomic power. Then in that way there was a creation in this way that was more an involvement with you in the manifestation of emotional, mental, spiritual ideas that were being played out so that you could get used to that idea. You follow me?
Sure, that
What you call the beginning of the idea that you do desire peace rather than war. What you call your peace movements.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, our interaction with you at that time was more on the level of the idea of mental interaction rather than physiological. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Thank you! Yes!
Seth at one time said that there was a possibility that our government might put those aliens that they have
On display.
Is that still a possibility?
It is a possibility. For they will want to in this way redeem themselves however they can and take the attention off what they have done by diverting attention onto the existence of that idea. Now, you can allow yourself, if you wish, to suggest other methodologies rather than in that idea what you would find to be in that way disrespectful. All right. Sharing.
Sure.
Yes.
The entities from Reticulum, how do they feel about having their patriots frozen in the sector? Is there any...
'Tis life. Now, understand that they do recognize what all of this is going towards. And they are willing to allow in this way that to continue, for they know that it will be one of the things that will form a fulcrum point for the release of that information. You follow me? They know it will perform a positive service. So they are willing in this way to recognize how it functions as so. Do you follow me?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any live ones right now?
Do you mean in your custody?
Yeah, does the government have any live ones?
No.
Why were you laughing?
Simply the sensation in this way, that very recently of your time in that sense, while there were, they have in this way evacuated their bodies on purpose because they knew what was coming. They have served their purpose.
Is that so easy?
No. It was in your own country.
They from Reticulum?
Yes.
How recent?
Within the last 7 to 10 of your years. One within the last 5.
Sure, is there any government that would be more spiritually receptive? I mean, I'm almost embarrassed.
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 You are your governments.
Well, I'm embarrassed of myself, and that I would...
Do not be embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm sick. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? That
Yes, I do.
government is so stupid as to take communication. Yeah, stupid to take a communication from another civilization and to surround it in guns and feel they have to The only way they can communicate with it is with a scalpel with a decent objective outcome sound. They don't have enough courage to communicate live communication. Are there any? My initial interest was: is there any other government on Earth that you feel would be more spiritually receptive?
There will never be only one. That is the point. The blending of the ideas of every government will be what is spiritually receptive. There is never going to be an isolated one. Follow me.
Yes. Is the idea of entities from other planets helping to unify the idea of us as a race?
Yes.
From our planet. So
Yes. Yes. But still, we will not meet in the overall sense with any one government until you are all equal with yourselves. And then you will be equal to the idea of any other planetary civilization. Follow me. Yes.
What is it that the governments are afraid of that they will not share this information?
Which is very simple. Recognize that you have created your governments to be operating on the idea that they are taking control of your fears for you. They are protecting you. When you create an institution from the prospect that you fear that you will be attacked, that you need protection, they are born of fear and so must generate fear to survive and continue in the way that they are. Thus, it is in their mentality that the only way they will be in power is to continue to generate the removal of power from everyone else. Not realizing that if they allow you to take back your power and make them equal to you, then they will be completely self-empowered. But your government, because of the structure you have created it to be, does not understand self-empowerment as power. You follow me? That is why. When you take back responsibility for your fears and do not need a shield to protect you, then any organization that would be akin to what you call a government can perform its true function to serve you.
Does the government think that we would be terrified by that?
To some degree, yes. But understand that that is their stock in trade. How else would you expect them to think? You have told them that you are terrified of everything. Protect us from our enemies. Keep us safe. Keep us sound. I do not want that responsibility. It is up to you, you say. You follow me?
Yes.
Therefore, of course they think you will be terrified. They are terrified.
I am personally confused on how it's possible for the individuals, not speaking as a government, but the individuals who actually encounter these aliens to not go home and tell their neighbors or their wives.
Many of them do.
And they are not me.
Well. When you have created a type of structure that says seeing is believing instead of believing is seeing, of course they are not believed. Because the individual to whom they are telling this did not see for themselves. You have created the idea of distrust. Therefore, why should you expect someone to believe you if you operate from the idea that you could be consciously deceiving them? That is the pattern and the habit you have created. Now, you will find, however, that there is one aspect of your society that is allowing this idea to change. And simply that you usually do understand that if many individuals are saying they are seeing the same thing, sooner or later, even if it is grudgingly, many of you will give in. And say, well, all right, there must be something to it. But perhaps it is, well, swamp gas. When individuals allow themselves to take responsibility for what they create in their lives, then they will allow themselves to know that anyone who would come to them expressing the compassion of such an encounter or a situation in that way, you will be able to sense the reality of that idea. and you will know that it means something to you. Follow. Thank you. Then you.
What you were talking about was the consciousness, the mass consciousness of government.
Yes.
Reminds me of the impression I've been getting that this form of government has destabilized anyway.
Yes.
It is on a downward spiral.
Different.
On a spiral to somewhere else.
Yes.
And I'm feeling that we will be, so to speak, forced to be self-empowered within only a few years.
Yes.
Because this form of government will no longer. Already it requires more and more taxes to do fewer and fewer services.
Right.
It's going to stop the
Yes. You will understand, of course, in this way, that what you have now, so to speak, as a governmental structure is not the way it was intended to be anywhere. You follow me? You are not designed, so to speak, to have what you call a democracy. You are designed to have what you call a republic. You follow me?
Well, what do you mean by a republic?
In this way, the idea of each individual being responsible for themselves and for their actions and interacting with integrity with all other individuals.
I have a picture of small communities, perhaps tribes, perhaps villages, or towns.
All right. That is the way you conceived of it then. But now, as you say, you are, in your own terms, a global village. You can function like one. All it takes is trust. And then you will experience what we call the ecstatic explosion of synchronicity and coincidence that will allow each and every one of you to function of service to every other being on your planet, always being exactly when and where you need to be to provide the service that is required by those you interact with, and only being able to interact with those beings that the service is provided for and that can provide similar services to you that you require, always interacting with only whom you need to interact to have the services exchanged in a synchronous manner. And that is why on our civilization we do not need the idea you call monetary exchange, politics, or any other institutions of that nature. For all takes care of itself in synchronous movement as we are willing to be service and attract only those individuals with whom we can be of service to and who can be of service to us. It is automatically functioning. And that, in a sense, is the idea, basically, of the so-called republic, of the so-called communistic society. They are both one and the same. You are experiencing the two polarities, the two negative polarities of those ideas within yourselves, and allowing yourselves to represent in each other with the idea you call your United States, your Soviet Union, the expression and experience of, in each other, what you fear in yourselves. You follow me? That is why you have those polarities. What you fear in yourselves, they express. What they fear in themselves, you express, but you are both doing it in negative ways even to yourselves. This is changing. You are beginning to communicate more openly, more willingly, and in this way you will understand that at this time symbolically you have formed, even if you must at this time maintain the so-called structure of the governments that you are used to, you have formed individuals at the pinnacles of each that already know each other. Do you follow me? Therefore, they are working together from a sense of familiarity. And this can be utilized by each and every one of you to recognize that in your idea of having, so to speak, put them there, you are your own governments, and you have decided together that you will allow yourselves all to be representatives of your own realities.
So what do you mean that they know each other? I did not understand that.
They have connections.
Other than the fact that they've met in something?
Yes.
Really? Could you expand them?
No. Now, if you wish to think of it this way, let us say it will not hurt to say they have interacted in what you call past lives. But that will not exactly explain the whole essence of the idea. And for now, simply allow yourselves to feel that essence and express it and then you will know what the connections are. Shooting!
Someone change the topic.
Change the topic? Have we been speaking of one topic?
The direction.
All right.
You spoke a few weeks ago of the magnesium isotope that is used in your
31.
ship. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm
Yes.
just curious specifically whether it's involved with part of plasma containment or is it a fusion driver, or is it actually
Not fusion as you understand it at all.
or is it part of gravitational something, or
It is a part of the dispersion shell that allows there to be the channeling of the stepped up light energy and the creation of the field round and about the ship. It is, in a sense, what is used as the lens. Now, this is why you understand that the majority of spacecraft that you encounter in this way are disc form, and it is the hull that is made of this magnesium. For it is that hull lens shape that allows there to be the dispersion of the energy round and about the craft in a lens-like manner so that the field is stable.
what level of energy is actually required to activate the shell?
In what you call the idea of microwave energy, 10 to the 14th power. Now, this does not mean you cannot achieve, to some degree, this effect on smaller scale. But this is simply the average of the expression being channeled through the majority of what you call scout craft.
10 to 14 joules or kilowatts or hertz or what?
The terminology is not within the physiological channel memory. Allow me to express in this way. What you perceive to be an output, what you call your highest setting, in what you call your microwave device, your oven, yes? Times No. That to the 14th.
Yes.
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 All right. Now, do not concern yourself with the achievement of that level of energy. It is not necessary for operation at first. You can simply allow yourself to experiment with the idea of the rotational masses as we have described them, or any idea of the creation of crystalline matrices as we have discussed them for now, and the exploration of the latent etheric energy in the substance you call gold, along with your magnesium and crystalline boron. Simply explore along these avenues and what you call quasi-crystalline plastic metals. See how they absorb and contain different kinds of electromagnetic energy, and when stimulated in certain ways, perhaps by light, perhaps by electricity, can release that energy from their crystalline structures, altering their crystalline structures back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, to become matter energy, matter energy, matter energy, and exist continually in a quasi-material plasma state, so to speak. But it is not in that way hot, as you would understand it. It is cold. It is, in that sense, cold fusion, but not fusion as you understand fusion. It is the fusion of templates, of matrices. The form upon which something else takes its shape. The idea of the underlying energy pattern that gives substance and shape to your three-dimensional universe. The interaction and intersection of 90-degree out-of-phase portions of the template will allow there to be a quasi-planar existence to an object at the focal point in which it does not have to exist in one particular reality or another, and can in that way slip through all realities. You follow me? That will do for now. Sure.
Sure. I found it interesting. I read in the paper the other day that Gorbachev had bypassed our usual governmental channels and had rented or bought a full-page ad in the New York Times saying that he was willing to have Russia be nuclear-free by the year 2000 and would allow on-site inspection of their facilities.
Nice. Thank you. How? Capitalistic.
Why not?
Sure. Right.
How do we get to the point where we can trust?
How do you get to the point? All right, go ahead. How? All right, go ahead.
Who, what, where, when?
Why, how? Live now. That's how.
Live now.
Nice. It does not make sense to you, does it?
No.
Because you think it is too simple?
I don't even understand I mean, I've never experienced living now.
Oh, yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Have you ever been ecstatic?
Yes.
Well, in that moment of ecstasy, were you not completely focused on the idea that was happening to you right then and there? No concerns for the past. Who cares what's coming up tomorrow? Right now, I am ecstatic. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
That's how. Living that way is the expression of trust. You follow me?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. First of all, there is no need to judge the path you are on, as you are expressing yourself now. First of all. Second of all, what, in your terminology, in your definition, what does it mean to be in the moment?
Doing exactly what you're doing totally as well as you can do without worrying about tomorrow rewards and all of that.
Do you do that?
Occasionally.
All right. Would you like to do it more often?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Now, recognize the little doorway that went in there into your mentality. Really, if you will allow yourself to stop and look at it, what really prevents you from doing it as often as you wish? Nothing. If you have done it once, you can do it again, anytime you wish. Your present is not the result of your past. So, at any moment you choose to be ecstatic in the moment, you do not have to create, connections to the past that block me. It is up to you. You do not have to do that. Maybe you like to. Do you like to?
That's what I'm
Afraid? Why should you be afraid? You think you are not controlling that? To say you are afraid of that means you think there is a portion of your consciousness that is not under your control. And that is not so. Well, it may seem so, but you are in control of creating the out-of-control feeling. You are creating a feeling of being out of control. Do you know that?
I know that.
Then if you know that, you know you are really in control. And you're simply playing a game with yourself. The game of being out of control. Oh, very much fun sometimes. Very exciting. Sometimes you allow yourself to create the game of being out of control, because when you create that kind of panic, that also is one way to be in the moment. When you are panicking, oh, you are in the moment. You follow me? Therefore, ecstasy, panic. Which way? Positive, negative manifestations, same energy. Ecstasy, panic. Choose which way you wish to channel the idea as the being that you are. You are using the same energy anyway. Might as well be positive.
So in other words, when you feel anxious or
It
fearful,
can be excitement. It is the same energy. Anxiety is simply looked at through negative eyes. All right, how about this? You have a choice of having a negative or a positive attitude about anything you experience. Now, why not choose the positive attitude? If it is, in your terminology, that the situation is not going to change anyway, well, why not at least enjoy it while you're doing it?
I guess there's always this fear that maybe if I had a different attitude, I would change it.
All right. Why is that a fear?
Well, if I stay with this attitude, then I don't get to experience what I would get with that attitude.
How do you know what you are missing if you do not contain it? If you do not feel it when you talk about it? You are obviously sensing something that you are talking about to me. The moment you conceive of that idea that you are making the comparison with, you are that idea. You follow me? You are saying, I am the idea of ecstasy, and I choose not to think that I am. The idea simply is that if you can perceive an idea, you are the idea. If you can even think of the concept of ecstasy, then in that moment of the conception you are ecstatic. Why change it? Good. That implies despair. Do you follow me now? To need to hope means you are fearful that your trust is not enough. But trust is all there is. That is all that creates your entire reality. Trust. Everything you experience, even your negative reality, is the product of your trust.
Could you elaborate on trust?
There is really not much to elaborate on. It is very simple. It is your willingness to express the fundamental right that you have to exist. You follow me? You do not have to do anything to deserve to exist. You exist. Therefore, you do not have to prove yourself to continue to exist in any way that you choose to. Trust that since you are here now, you always will be. You have all the time in the universe because you're creating it. So, where are you rushing to? Relax. Enjoy yourself. Trust that you know what you are doing. The only reason that you create panic is because you don't think you know what you're doing. But you do.
Or that you don't trust.
Same thing. You follow me?
Yes.
You have created the idea of separating yourself from your knowing self. Trusting yourself is simply knowing that you are responsible for everything in your reality that you experience. Responsibility does not mean blame. It means you have free choice. If you have created everything that you have experienced, then that means you can create anything. You follow me?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, trust that. It has always worked.
Yes.
It is working right now, and it will never stop working. even when you create the idea that you are not creating your reality, you are still creating that. It always comes back to you. Always. You are the creator. Period. Oh, yes, no. Yes. No, yes, no. Yes, I know. Maybe. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I have a friend whom I brought here, and she would like to know something she is afraid.
All right. Then, be bold in your fear. Ask the question very fearfully. All right. Oh.
I've been in a relationship that has involved a lot of affection and a lot of anger, and I have pulled away from it because I feel that it has been bringing out a lot of negative things in me, things that
Yes.
I'm not finding myself.
So?
And my question is, I figure either this is just the wrong person for me.
Wrong? It has brought out ideas in you that you have refused to look at, so it has served its purpose, hasn't it?
It has shown me that I have been unwilling to be unconditionally loving.
All right.
And I question how I can become willing to be unconditionally loving to a mate.
To a mate?
Yeah, to a man with whom I'm...
Simply allow yourself, first of all, to know that you are unconditionally the product of unconditional love. You are made of unconditional love. And you have maleness and you have femaleness within you. Allow your unconditional lovingness to extend to the maleness and femaleness within you and marry them within you. Then you will attract, if you need to, a representative symbol in the form of another individual into a relationship in which you can share your already acknowledged completeness. You follow me? If you create a relationship because you think you need a relationship in order to feel complete, then the relationship you have created will only reflect to you your belief in your own incompleteness. So they will seem incomplete and will bring up within you all the portions of yourself that you have refused to look at that is keeping you from being aware that you are complete. So it has served its loving purpose by showing you all these things. Now simply allow yourself to integrate them, to accept them as valid, to see how they have served you. Marry all those ideas equally within you, allow them all to be valid, and you will attract a situation that will reflect that idea. It may or may not be the same individual, but it will not matter if it is or not. For if they choose to change to reflect the new idea of yourself that you are creating, then everything will be in your terms just fine. If they choose not to, they will go on their way, and you will attract someone else who will reflect that to you, and you will still fill all of those needs. You follow me? Recognize in this way that the idea is akin to what we have spoken before that you call soulmates. Many individuals feel that if only I could find my soulmate, oh, everything would be wonderful. But the idea is if you know everything is wonderful, then you are vibrating on the level that attracts the soulmate that is a reflection of your sense of completeness. You follow me? Will that have been of some assistance? Thank you very much for the willingness to explore and share all that you are, for everything you do is an act of love and a gift. Thank you. Yeah. What density is time? In this way, it is usually the product, more or less, of third density reality. Though, to some extent, it can extend into fourth in a different way. But it is mostly the idea of third density. You follow me? In terms of the actual sensation of the separated moments. There is a fourth density, time, but it is more synchronous, more simultaneous, more motion-oriented, more active. acceleration, but more the, let us say, lack of sensing of things taking much time to occur. It is less the experience of time and more the experience of timing. You follow me? Timing being the events, the interactions that you chose to be in physical life. More the simultaneous, synchronous sharing of events rather than the actual experiencing of the passage of time, except in the most general overall feeling. You follow me? Will that have answered your question? Are you sure? Thank you. Sharing!
Sean?
Yes.
Just recently, I went over to Chris and Maureen's for their meditation the other evening, and I had a very strong intuitive sense that I needed to bring a female friend of mine because she needed to meet Chris, and I just knew that this was necessary.
All right.
Okay, so anyways, I brought her over, and I didn't say anything to either one of them, and right when she walked up to the door and Chris opened it, she looked up at the stars and she said, I feel like I'm from the Pleiades. How do you feel? And Chris said, I was just feeling like that is where I've been from the whole day.
What a coincidence.
Okay, so anyway, they hit it off real well.
Yes.
What I'm wondering is, okay, is my higher self, first of all, did it already experience that and that's how it knew it, or is it communicating?
In a sense, yes.
Okay, and then is it also that I have communicated with their higher selves?
Same thing.
Okay, can you explain a little bit to me?
Nope. You are asking for separation, and it is all one thing. You know and understand the event exactly as you need to. You understand it through the actual experience. There is no need to scatter it into its components again. You put it together in order to create it. Why break it apart? You follow me? It is all the blending of the consciousness that you are here, the consciousness that you are there, their consciousness, your consciousness. It is all an action and a creation of the overall event that you are all together. Thank you. It is motion. Motion. Thank you. Yes?
Can you talk a little bit about the effect of Halley's Comet is happening right now, today?
It is not so much the effect of Halley's Comet. It is the idea of you creating the effect for yourself and creating a symbol to reflect. The idea that you are stepping through into another cycle. The idea of comets represent that type of periodicity, of cyclicness. And in this way, you are giving yourself, with this symbol, many ideas. It will be paramount in the April month that will reflect a change sociologically upon your planet in this way. The beginning of the movement into fourth density. Also understand, at this time, it is a reflection of the idea of your average lifespan in its periodicity of 76 years. In this way, this will now change from this point forward. It is our perception at this time that your civilization will not experience that comet again. For it will have served all of its purposes. You follow me? It is a doorway, it is a gateway, a reflection of you willing to step into a higher idea of yourselves. You follow me? Thank you. Guys?
Is there any particular area that you would recommend to see some of these sightings in the Ides of March?
Only if you do not take me literally. All right?
All right, agree.
And if you follow your own instinct and your own imagination, all right? Thank you. Malibu. San Diego. Is that too far? There will be few over your own city.
So what about Ojai? The area known as Ojai?
Our perception is that while not improbable, more the area you call Bakersfield.
Bashar, the other evening you were telling Maureen about bringing 3 of certain different herbs and
Yes.
etc. And what I got from that was you were saying by her putting out certain energy, she could attract sightings. Did I get that correctly?
In a sense, yes.
So can we like put out a certain energy to be able to attract the sightings to where we are?
You can use your imagination as long as you do not put expectation upon it. For what you create will attract what you need, whether it is a sighting or not.
Well, what I'm wondering is that communication received?
Oh, yes, it is received. But it is returned in the way your higher self says it needs to be returned. Not the way your physiological ego structure expects it to be returned. You follow me? Thank you. There will be in your terms a few more minutes remaining.
Shaq,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that you're being so generous with your time and your knowledge.
My time? I have no need. I have no need for patience. I enjoy every moment with all of you. I do not need to be generous in that way. I am expressing the essence of my being.
Well, we appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for your willingness to co-create this interaction. For it is very ecstatically loving experience to us.
This is my husband.
No matter.
I'm considering here objective.
All right. Although there is no such thing as objectivity, but go ahead.
I just wanted to
Well, thank you. You, of course, realize that nothing that I am saying needs to be accepted by you. That is the whole idea. I, in your terminology, am successful in my job when you do not need me. The idea is simply to remind each and every one of you that you have all the answers and you are self-empowered in your own free will to create the lives you wish. You have co-created this idea with us and with many other energies in this way, simply as one more way you have of experiencing and expressing different ideas of the relationship of yourself to yourself. And in this way, we enjoy the interaction with you in this way. But it is not something that you need to do. It is simply something you have chosen to need to do. And you can simply choose to interact in other ways. And recognize that you always attract yourself to any endeavor for your own reasons, and in no way, shape, or form are your reasons in any stretch of the imagination. They do not need, in this way, to be the same reasons as anyone else's reasons. We thank you for your willingness to interact, to share of the being that you are. For any expression, as we have said, that you have to share is a gift, an act of love, and a revelation of one more facet of all that is, one more way that all that is can look at itself. Is there something else that you would wish to share? All right. All right. The idea of density can be explained by analogy in this way. Are you familiar with the idea of what you call your visible spectrum of light? Do you recognize that there are, let us say, vibrational patterns of light that are invisible to you? What you call ultraviolet. You follow me? You do not perceive it directly with your eyes, yes? All right. This is a rough analogy of the idea of density vibration. In other words, whole reality, what you consider to be your physical universe reality, vibrates at a certain, let us say, frequency or pitch. Out of the homogeneous one energy of creation, all realities are created out of that one vibration by varying the different vibrational pitches. And these variances become whole universes. Everything is simply a matter of different vibrations of one homogeneous primal energy. You follow me so far? Therefore, the idea of different densities is simply different levels or planes or different frequencies, each of which are invisible to the other. But when you accelerate the idea of yourself also only being a collection of the idea of frequencies in that way, or in other words, the reality of yourself that you experience as a physical reality, being an extension of your consciousness that expresses itself along a certain wavelength, when you change the idea of yourself, it is like tuning yourself to a different frequency, and so you experience the reality that is representative of that frequency. Fourth density represents the acceleration of your awareness of yourself so that you become more aware of more of yourself as all that is, in that way. Your relationship to the idea of the Creator, in that sense, the all that isness of yourself. It is the ability, now that you have third density, which is the representation of existing in space, existing in time, existing with polarity. Third density being the ability to, in a sense, look at yourself, as you said, so to speak, objectively. But that is only an illusion. Everything is subjective. But the ability to create the illusion of objectivity is one of the ideas of third density, that you can stand outside yourself and look back or look upon a situation seemingly outside of yourself. All of this is from you. All of your reality that you experience is from you. It is you. It is a part of you. Fourth density reality will allow you to experience your reality as a part of you, because you are more aware of more of yourself and are actually able to physically perceive what you have for so long considered to be outside yourself as actually a part of you in this way. Because fourth density is not only the idea or the ability to stand apart and look at yourself or back at yourself, it is the ability to look through yourself and see all the reasons and all the illusions that you have created to experience this sense of objectivity or separation. Am I making myself clear?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Therefore, what is second density and what is...
Thank you. The idea of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh density are akin again to the seven color vibrations, the seven planes of existence. Each is more expanded and more rarefied in that way. First density will be the idea, so to speak, of what you call the energy mineral vibration. The single idea of the line, linear motion in that way, and the expression of linear consciousness in the sense that you would understand there to be the natural state of mineralness, the existence of crystalline form in that way. Second density will be the idea most often expressed by what you term to be the vegetable kingdom in this way, the idea of growing life in that way, expanded in another dimension above the mineral in that sense, and will contain some aspects of animalness, although that also extends into third density as well. In this way, it is the expression of not only the linear motion and the planar motion, but the volumetric motion as well. For therefore, to understand that in third density, that is why you can, for the first time, step up and out and look back at yourself, because there is now an up and a down relationship to your consciousness, and you expand yourself in the idea of time and space. Fourth density will be the progression of the idea of time in a timing sense, the ability to see through the illusion of the first three volumetric X, Y, Z coordinates in this way, recognizing them simply to be a structure, an illusion, a skeleton, that you have expressed your reality within. And in this way, it will be an extension of the sense of time in the idea of motion. Now, fifth density will be the recognition of the idea experientially of simultaneousness of your existence. So you will perceive yourself not only as volume, not only as motion, but also as the idea of simultaneous motion in many different alternate realities and parallel density experiences. Sixth density, in this way, will be like the idea of 2 is to 1, volumetric again, in the sense of planar again, in the sense of, from fifth density, not only the idea of simultaneous motion, but simultaneous existence in many different alternate realities in this way. The actual sensing of yourself as the dimensions in which you exist, in this sense. Seventh density will be the experience of what you call the idea of the God plane, the God soul, the actual existence of yourself as all that is in that way. You will be then completely volumetrically existent in multidimensional senses, experiencing yourself in alternate realities, parallel realities, different civilizations, the totality of consciousness, up and down and sideways in all the spectrums. You will actually be the dimension of that existence itself and experience yourself as not being in a dimension, but being the dimension of existence itself. You follow me? Of course, there are moments that you call revelation in which you are, let us say, in communication with every level of your being that you exist upon. You follow me? Why not? Yes. Well, that is all right. You are exactly where you have chosen to be, and it serves your purposes. Recognize that this is the transformational life on this planet. And if you have agreed to be here now, you have done so and made this contract with all the other beings that are here. You are going to, therefore, proceed at your own rate, but you are going to stay within a basic fundamental rate that serves everyone you have made the agreement with. Otherwise, what is the point? You do not need to be here. You follow me? Thank you very much. And in this way, allow me once again to express to each and every one of you our appreciation of the gift of your sharing. For in this way, we also, as our civilization, learn more ways that all that is has of expressing itself within creation. And we will thank you for that gift. We bid you exciting dream lives. We bid you good night.